All right, guys, how's it going? Let me switch some stuff here. Let me turn the music down just a little bit. All right. How's it going, everybody? Dang, I haven't had time to drink my stuff yet. Let's see. Welcome in Toto, Alphil as well, and of course, Shaw Express. Appreciate it. Yeah, so I'm very excited about today's interview. I'm running a little bit behind. I meant to be live a few minutes ago, but I had so my car was in the shop over the weekend, and they were like, "Hey, like, we kind of really need you to pick it up today." So of course this happened as I'm getting ready for the interview. So I had to go over there, come back, pick it up, come back just in time. So, what's up, Henry? How's it going? It's going. I got you. Yeah. So. But I'm still very excited about today's interview and whatnot. So going to be asking them a lot of questions about music, Cobra Kai. Especially, it's really cool, you know, these guys being, you know, world-class composers and everything. So it's going to be really cool. So, yeah, I had to get my struts replaced on the front end of my car. They were saying that it was a wonder I was still driving it because it was pretty dangerous, and you know, unfortunately, I've been kind of sitting on it for a while, was just trying to eventually get it fixed. But I work from home, so I don't really like go out like too often. So it was one of those things I was able to kind of like prolong, but it was kind of a good thing I got it fixed. So yeah, it was pretty bad. So hey, Chris, welcome in, man. Glad to finally catch a stream live. That name and photo, CM Audio, CM Strike Audio. The name looks familiar. That's me. Okay, cool. Yeah. You guys should definitely check out his channel. You know what? While we're waiting, I'll pull that up real quick because you guys should be able to see it. He makes some. Hey, look, there's Henry's channel right there too. Makes some really great covers. So, whoops, check it out. Let me also drop it here in the chat. So yeah, definitely check it out if you guys haven't already. So, Charles, what's going on? Wait, Charles. Hold on. I need to fix. There we go. Yeah, of course, no problem, man. I just got back into. I'll mention this in the interview with him as whatnot, but yeah, I got back into playing drums like after 10 years. I was actually playing some before the stream and whatnot today. It's kind of like an exercise, so I just kind of get back at things. Ahmed, what's going on? Yes, I am interviewing them live. Unfortunately, one of my off-screen interviews got canceled. You know, I just got the notification, so we're trying to reschedule some things, get some other stuff ironed out, but, you know, it is what it is. It happens, so. Alphil, I enjoy the hooks you use in your videos. Any tips for improving that aspect? Honestly, the best, so, let me pause here for a second. So, I don't give out a lot of advice, typically, because, as some of you guys that have worked with closely with me off stream, I'm very passionate about what I do. So if I offer you any kind of advice, take it and run with it. Study other videos, see what works well with them. vidIQ is a great resource. I actually have a coach with them that I work day to day on my videos and stuff like that. So to just keep it short, keep it simple. The best thing you can do, really, with like any other profession and stuff like that, is just study what other people are doing. And but don't copy. Like, find your own way, find your own style, find what's going on like that. Actually, like this format that I'm doing right now, I studied Henry. Henry has a very similar format, and you know, with his blessing, I was like, hey, show me the ropes. Like, I kind of want to be able to do what you do and things like that. So, so yeah, the best thing to do is just study and whatnot. So, so yeah, there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. And honestly, it's just going to take practice. It's just going to take time. Like, nothing ever comes like super quick, you know? Just with anything, you don't like when you go work out in the gym for the first time. You don't start benching 300 pounds overnight. You got to work your way up. You know. So same thing with martial arts. Same thing with music. Same thing with anything. You just got to work your way up. You know. That's the best advice I can get. So much to my style. Hey, you know what? Get good. Not playing. I know Henry like fairly well. He's just kind of joking and whatnot. He makes we always make this joke in Discord that I'm stealing his viewers or things like that. So yeah, that's like was best thing. So whatnot. Degenerate. Welcome in. Hey Stryfe, gonna hop in and out unfortunately. Yeah, no problem, man. I appreciate you just tuning in. So appreciate the advice. Yeah, no problem, man. So hey, Strike First, what's going on, man? Strike First is another great content creator. If you haven't seen his stuff already, probably should keep a YouTube tab open just in case. Definitely check him out too. So 43K, man, congrats. That's awesome. So Strike First, dude, let me know if you want me to hop on a live stream with you when not to. I'm gonna steal your dog, so I'm joking, guys. I didn't invent the wheel. No, I know. Yeah, I don't take it any offense or anything like that. So yeah, so we're just chill. Oh, I probably should fix my shirt, huh? Look all gangly. That's a big L on my part. So, but yeah, overall it's been all right. I know like it's President's Day. I know there's some people that might be off today, so it's cool that Zach Leo take your time out of their day to interview. So. How was everybody's weekend? Anybody do anything exciting? For me, I was just pretty much live streaming all weekend and just kind of working out, just taking it easy. Got into Minecraft again and stuff like that. So appreciate it, my man. Yeah, no problem. Just got back from New York trip, so I got some stuff to catch up on. Definitely interested in streams this coming week. I'll be in touch. Yep, sounds good, man. For sure. Just let me know. So yeah, I'm also recording with Karate Kid Minute. Oh, that might be them. Let's check if it is. Let me pause the music real quick here, guys. Let me see. Is it? Oh, we got one of them. We got Zach. I believe we're still waiting on Leo, so we'll give him some time as well. So let me play some music real quick too. Let me work, movie, stream, eat, shower, and meme. Yeah, basically, and whatnot. So I am. I just lost my train of thought. God dang it, whatnot. Sonic, hey, what's going on, man? Good to see you as well, too. So we got Zach in the backstage. We're gonna just give some time for Leo, so it's all good. Dominic, hey, Stryfe, how are you? Hey, I'm doing good. Dominic, how are you today? I'm doing all right, man. I'm very excited about today's interview. It's always awesome when I get a chance to interview somebody that was involved in one of my favorite shows and whatnot. So, is there a spin-off series? Nabil, welcome in, confirmed for Cobra Kai. Not to my knowledge. I know there might be some things in the work, but nothing's confirmed or denied yet at this point, according to the big three. So podcasts win. I know, man. I've been trying to work on it as well. So just something I talked about, teased, things like that. I definitely have a co-host in mind already. So let me see, make sure I'm not missing anything here on my phone and whatnot. So yeah, that's just kind of what I've been up to, basically. Yes. Oh, sorry. I remember what I was saying now. I'm recording with Karate Kid Minute, talking about our things with, our thoughts on season 6, part 3, and kind of breaking down the, the most recent episodes and stuff like that. So once I get like a link of when that'll be up, it will, we'll get that too. Oh, I guess Zach left, so I guess we're just still waiting both of them. Oh, came back. Device is not connected. Okay, let's see. Let me. All right, so we got Zach. Let's see. All right, guys, give me 1 second. Let me see what's going on real quick. Be right back. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut the audio off real quick. We're gonna do some quick testing. Give me a second. All right, guys. So I have him here backstage with me. So I appreciate your guys' patience. So it's my pleasure to introduce, known for their work in Cobra Kai, Twisted Metal, and most recently, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man that just dropped on January 29th, which was my birthday, actually. 2023 primetime Emmy winners for outstanding music composition for a limited or anthology series, movie, or special. My pleasure to introduce Zach Robinson and Leo Birenberg. Did I get it right?
Nailed it.
You nailed
Okay,
it.
okay, perfect. Guys, how's it going? I appreciate you taking time out of your day with to spend a live stream with me. How's everybody doing?
No problem. We didn't know until
We're
about
doing great.
2 minutes ago this was a live stream. So excited for us to.
I'm sorry.
participate.
No,
it's fine.
Okay.
We're cool. We're down.
Okay, because like I talked to Maddie, I was like, "Hey, is live stream cool?" Because I asked, some people like to do off stream. So if live stream, just want to make sure,
No, we're good.
Okay, okay.
We just didn't know it was hilarious.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's not. No,
Okay.
it's all good. I apologize, by the way, if I'm on my phone and it drops out a little bit occasionally.
Sure,
So,
no problem. So I want to get to know you guys first before we talk about some music and stuff like that. How long have you two known each other? How did you meet? Let's start there.
We've known each other for 12 years, maybe a little more. No, I guess probably right about 12.
Yeah, it's 12.
Okay, we'll call it 12. We actually met because we both were working as assistants for another composer. So like, we were like the coffee boys for a while. Zach got me a coffee on his first day, actually.
Yeah, pretty great. Pretty good.
And let's see. What was the rest of the question?
No, that's fine. Just I wanted to know how you guys met, how long you guys have known each other. It's so awesome to see you guys paired on so many different projects and everything like that. So I figured you guys must have known each other, for quite some time. A real quick question, and hopefully I'm right about this. Zach, you went to Japan recently, right?
I did, and
we
so did Leo,
actually. We
both
went
did.
to Japan recently, individually.
Yeah, tell me about that. That's one of my childhood places I've always wanted to visit. Never been. It's been a childhood dream of mine to visit. So tell me about Japan. What was your favorite experience? And if you go back, what's something else you would visit?
We had very different trips because mine was my honeymoon. So I went on a little more of a romantic Japanese getaway.
Okay.
But it was fantastic. I mean, I went in 2009 when I was 19 years old, and it was pre-iPhone, so I have no idea how the hell I got around there. But no, it's just a great place, great food. The people are amazing. I would recommend if you go and you're looking for something a little off the beaten path, my one recommendation that I tell everyone is to go to this island called Naoshima, which is kind of like an art island, tons of art installations. It's beautiful. November is amazing time to go.
Okay.
It's great. If you love Japan, Japanese culture and food, just a great spot. It's really what the future city of the world could be like. Tokyo is like that. And yeah, Leo also went right after I got back.
Right.
Yeah, I also went. I had been before in 2015 for about 2 weeks, and I was there again for about 2 weeks. I would just advise booking. I honestly, if you can swing it, I would take 3 weeks off and go to Japan for 3 weeks because it's a huge country. The first time I went in 2015, I actually felt like I didn't really enjoy Tokyo that much because I was only there for 4 days. I spent a lot of time in Kyoto because my sister was studying there at the time and kind of traveled all around. And Tokyo is so big that you need I would say a week to just kind of live there and explore a variety of different neighborhoods. And you could easily spend 3 months in just Tokyo, and every day would be different, I think. But there's so much to do in the whole country. It's a lot bigger than it looks on the map and very different region by region. And so you got to explore too. And the train system's amazing. So I always tell people to don't go for less than 2 weeks. And really 2 weeks, when you leave, you're going to feel like the next time you come, you need to go for 2 months.
Awesome.
And the food, the food is incredible.
You know what's not big there is Cobra Kai.
Oh yeah, they don't watch Cobra Kai there.
Man.
I did see one Cobra Kai. I actually did see Leo in Kyoto. I saw outside one of those kind of outdoor mall type zones, and they were just selling pop culture things, and there was a Spider-Man shirt next to a Cobra Kai shirt, and I actually meant to take a picture.
Sick.
I might have taken a picture, but that was the only Cobra Kai
sick
stuff that I saw.
That's awesome. Yeah, my fiance is in the chat. She's definitely taking notes because that's something somewhere we definitely want to go both together. My best friend Charles, who's a mod, he's also in the chat right now. He actually went there in January. I don't know how familiar you guys are with the Earthbound series and Mother.
Yes.
Okay, he brought me back a big Mr. Saturn, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It was so
that's
cool.
that's all. There's just like everywhere they're obsessed with video games, and because it's just like that's like the birthplace of all that stuff.
Right.
It's just part of their culture.
Right, for sure. I interacted with you guys on Twitter a couple years ago. We talked about, I think, favorite all-time Pokemon route theme. Somebody mentioned Pallet Town. Tell me about your introduction, both of you. Like first memory with playing Pokemon. Favorite
Dude,
game.
I love it.
Zach's gonna have way better responses to this than me. Like I just played the original, American original, like Red Blue when it came out. Like, you know, I had a Charizard. That's my boy. Yeah, you know, I beat it. I collected all 151 at the time.
That's awesome.
But then I never went. But I had some friends who were like really into it, and they like. I have this one friend in like a few years after that who was like teaching himself to read kanji so that he could play the
yellow version,
the teal version or something that was only really that hadn't been translated into English yet. But I feel like Zach played more Pokemon than me.
Gotcha.
I mean, but do you have a favorite soundtrack, Leo, from Pokemon?
I don't know. No.
I mean, Pokemon is maybe one of the most pivotal video games in my life. I mean, I remember getting on Christmas morning, opening that feeling of opening up Pokemon Red. I remember that fucking feeling. And the reason I said Pallet Town probably was just because I think that is the most like nostalgic core music that I associate with that memory. I mean, it's like, and it's the game starter and everything. And I mean, it's a beautiful soundtrack. And I think, probably one of the earlier soundtracks that I can remember feeling an emotional connection to, besides like, you know, Mario or something like that. I think Pokemon might even be even more so for that.
Right.
More than Zelda, more than than Mario. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you know, so many great soundtracks. For me, I kind of started with both Gold and Yellow at the same time. So I got Pokemon Go for Christmas. I think it was 2000. And right after that, my grandma had given me money for my birthday. And I remember specifically Sam's at the time, because around that time, the games were like about $30 or so by themselves. Mm-hmm. Sam's was selling both the strategy guide and Pokemon Yellow for $30. I remember having that and whatnot too.
Strategy guides.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I lost my original copy, but a few years ago, I did rebuy the same strategy guide that somebody had. And it was at like a local game store. So that's kind of what I've been collecting nowadays. I have that. Majora's Mask, I think Ocarina of Time strategy guides I was able to come across too.
Wow, you have a collection of strategy guides?
I have this like Ocarina of Time strategy guide that I bought
awesome.
like in a grocery store. Like I think it was like in the checkout line, and I like begged my mom to buy it, and it was fucking awesome. Like it was so it was really well done and comprehensive. Man, I feel like I still have it, but it's probably in a box in my dad's house. Like,
I have a Conker's Bad Fur Day strategy guide. I don't know if you ever played that.
Yeah,
that was like a very rated R game that I should not have been playing when I was 10 years old. And and then Banjo-Kazooie, which is one of my favorite N64 games. Yeah, the kids don't know how good they have it. They can just look up on YouTube walkthroughs and stuff. You had to buy the freaking strategy guides, and you had to learn from them.
Yeah, chat's loving y'all's responses right now. Pokemon has one of the best gaming soundtracks. Love Conker's Bad Fur Day. Retro game talks are locked in. And see, this is, I'm already really loving this live. I've loved every live stream I've interviewed so far. So tomorrow I have Sean Kanan, who played Mike Barnes.
Nice.
I had Matt Borlangi Saturday, who plays Lyle, and stuff like that. But like I kind of follow y'all's social media very closely, and y'all talked about video game influence and stuff like that. So I'm like,
we're
really,
very much like I think we might be the actually the nerdiest people who work on Cobra Kai. I'm not like, I actually think that like we can hang in these conversations more than other people can. I think we take pride in that. But I will say also that like video games and video game music are just we grew up, you know, golden age of video game music.
Absolutely.
Right? Like that's our generation. And like it is very, very, very influential on the soundtrack for Cobra Kai. Like and a lot of the times you can draw the through line pretty easily.
Exactly.
Wait, while we're just like throwing video games out there.
Sure.
Did either of you guys play a lot of Banjo-Kazooie?
Yes.
Yeah, did you hear me
Yeah.
say I had the freaking? Did you just drop out when I said I had the strategy guy for that?
No, I missed that in your strategy guy thing. But Banjo-Kazooie was like one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, it's an amazing game.
And I'm not sure I ever beat it. I'm just thinking like right now
I got
because
really close
I
to.
remember the end game of that was like extremely difficult.
Yep.
I
got stuck on I got stuck on Jolly Roger Bay personally, so I know what you're talking about.
That's like the second level.
No, that's Treasure Trove Cove. Jolly Roger Bay is right before TikTok Wood. It was the one that has like the different seasons. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. That one.
Did they?
The different season one's freaking amazing.
Did they do
I don't know. That game just has so much stuff.
Yes, on Xbox Live. They did remaster it, and they actually did a functionality for stop and swap. I don't know if you guys remember that rumor with Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, where it was a feature where you were able to transfer some secret items that were supposed to help you with the next game, but then I think it was something with development. They were like, well, we don't want to do like this thing of like cartridge swapping because it's like so little time you have to swap cartridges and stuff like that. So they finally added some functionality into that with the Xbox version. So
cool.
Yeah. See, you guys brought up Rare, and I wanted to bring something up, but I kind of want to hold on, but I'm going to circle back to Rare, because such a classic game. I know you guys mentioned Donkey Kong Country as one of your influences for Heart of the Cobra, but I want to ask that question a little bit later, but I'm loving this conversation so far. Well, while we're still on the subject, favorite video game composers from either of y'all?
I mean,
it can be more than one. So,
speaking of, first of all, I'll just say like David Wise, who's the composer for Donkey Kong, once like added us on Twitter, like
that's awesome,
and like said like he loved the Cobra Kai soundtrack, and I like framed that. Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, I'd say like Nobuo Uematsu, who did Final Fantasy. I just like that's like for me personally, just a huge influence. Like I was listening to the Final Fantasy soundtracks, and more so the Black Mages, which is his metal band that covers the Final Fantasy soundtracks. Like pretty influential to my musical compositional like perspective. Like I think I listen to the Black Mages albums now and I'm like, oh, I remember when I was like 14 listening to this and how that shaped my writing. Like that still influences, and like we can talk about Cobra Kai later, but like I mean the big fight in 610, that is a Final Fantasy track.
That's awesome
in my opinion.
That's
so
awesome.
that would be mine probably.
Sure. And what about you, Leo?
I'm probably a Koji Kondo guy. Like I remember downloading MIDI files and then
same
them
dude,
up
same.
Like early version of this notation program, like music notation program called Sibelius. When I was the version 1 of that program, and just like I don't know, messing around with it. So like that stuff was probably the most influential to me. Not really a video game composer, but I would also like to just shout out while we're talking about video games that my favorite video game of all time is Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. And the main theme of that, which is Harry Gregson Williams, is just awesome. And also sounds so like 2000s era Harry Gregson Williams. Like it's...
I didn't know that he did that.
Honestly, it doesn't really hold up as well as I wish it did when I like listen back to it now, but the theme is amazing.
Exactly. Cool. To circle back, Zach, about Nobu, that's where my namesake comes from. So Stryfe the Warrior is actually Cloud Strife's name, just purposely misspelled. I did for an MMORPG a long time ago to have it more like a regal look. So I've had that nickname for like, God, I'm about to age myself, 20 years now. So so really cool. Metal Gear, I don't dislike it, but it was so hard for the one that I played. And it was one of the PS2 ones that had 2 discs. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been 3 or 4, something like that. But I know a lot of people talk about how such good a franchise it is, and I have to agree with them. With just how well it is too. Looking at some of the chat comments, do either of you guys know of Legend of Dragoon? Kind of on the subject of Square Enix.
No, I haven't played it.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, I know that game. I need to Google this for a second.
Yeah, no problem. Take your time.
I used to play this with my friend Sean Langan.
Sean Langdon, that's such like a elementary school guy name.
Yeah.
What about any?
Yeah, Legend of Dragoon.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Maybe I'd recognize the.
Wasn't this game about like?
I don't know it.
I mean, I used to play this.
I mean, I love JRPGs, but I don't know
Awesome.
it.
Any Sonic or Sega?
I might do a little deep dive on this
Yes.
later to bring me
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, Sonic or Sega OST. Any favorite composers, tracks, anything you think of?
The Sega
I mean,
Sega
Sega Genesis
team
was my first video game system.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like the Sega sound team in general, like that group of composers who worked in-house at Sega in like the early 90s is maybe top tier compositional talent in like it's truly like, and like Leo and I are really big fans of if people like video game music, you need to listen to Japanese fusion from the 80s, because all the composers who wrote music for video games, they grew up on these fusion bands or were in the fusion bands, more likely.
Okay.
And like, so Cassiopeia, T-Square, like listen to these bands and you're gonna be like, oh, now I understand why Mario Kart sounds the way it sounds.
Yep.
Because it all like comes from this kind of like early era of jazz fusion in Japan, late 70s, early 80s. But yeah, like Sonic is up there. I'm trying to think of there's another Sega soundtrack that I really love that I'm gonna have to look up, and maybe I'll look up when Leo's answering a question. But anyway, yes, Sonic is fantastic.
Okay, Leo, what? You might have answered a little bit already. I just want to make sure.
I love this.
Yeah,
I had a
Awesome.
Sega Genesis. It was my first system, and I played Sonic 2 for ages. I mean, literal ages. I never beat it again. I got like at the
Same.
I remember like getting to the actual final boss battle, and I was never able to beat it. And of course, like, you know, back then, like there was no save, so
Yep.
so like I had to play for hours and hours and hours, and like yell back and forth with my mom about turning it off so that I could keep, like, you know, I had to keep it on
Right.
without the power going out so that I could keep it paused, and then like I would run out of lives.
Right.
Yeah.
So a quick comment from the chat. Yo, Leo and Zach made me love them even more. I did not know they were retro gamers like that. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm really excited about this conversation too. So
Not
Zach,
gonna lie,
yeah.
have you listened to the Cobra Kai soundtrack, my friend?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. There's
Come on.
I was gonna bring up Yuzo Koshiro, if I'm pronouncing that name right, from Streets of Rage. I don't know if you've listened to any of this work. Very house inspired, trance. Just the way he was able to, especially if you remember Expander, which was like the elevator level for level 7 of Streets of Rage 2. Like, I don't know how he was able to like just take advantage of the sound chip like that. Very like
it's unbelievable. I mean, that's right. They were working on a whole nother level with the parameters that they had, the sound chips and whatnot. Like, have you Stryfe, have you listened to our Cobra Kai game soundtrack?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
That's like, I mean, and if anyone hasn't listened to that, like, you should listen to that, because that's basically like us having free reign over like just like, oh, make a Cobra Kai video game soundtrack, and you know, Streets of Rage, there's a few tracks on our video game soundtrack that are very Streets of Rage
Which
inspired.
Specifically? Now, because now I'm curious.
I think it's called Beach Party is one of them.
Oh,
Beach
okay,
Party's
that makes a lot of sense. Yep.
Beach Party, and then Park is also very street. These are like, okay, like if you're a true Cobra Kai fan, you need to listen to this, because this is actually, I think that the Cobra Kai video game soundtrack, which we did over, it was right when COVID happened, that like got me personally through COVID. Like I was like, I needed that energy in my life, like doing the video game soundtrack, and it was like, we had such an amazing time, so much fun writing that soundtrack.
Yeah.
And then we did another one too, but it's not as, the second one is great, but it's not, that feels more like a Cobra Kai show soundtrack, where I think the first video game is like, it's a side scroller. So like, you know, that's what we were trying to do.
So I'm going to show you guys how big of a fan I am of y'all, because I was one of the ones that was lucky enough to get a signed copy when y'all did the season 3 release.
Nice.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I also got the season 5 soundtrack too. So if I ever meet you guys someday, I'm definitely going to possibly ask you to sign it if that's
nice.
okay.
Have you pre-ordered the season 6?
Oh no, yeah. As soon as y'all released it on YouTube, I was on it. I was on it, so I was listening to it, and that's one of my questions too.
But no,
the
vinyl that there's a vinyl.
Oh
coming
yes,
out.
yes. I saw that. So guys, is it through La La Land Records, or no, different?
It's through Made by Mutant.
Okay.
Mutant Records.
Yeah, so you guys in the chat for vinyl lovers, Mutant Records, check it out. Cobra Kai season 6, for all 3 parts, right? The vinyl.
It's the CD it's a season 6 CD for all 3 parts, and then the vinyl is actually a best of season 4, season 5, season 6. It's a companion to our volume 1, to our CK vinyl volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely have to check that out. So, first instruments either of you ever played?
Technically, I took piano lessons, but I quit very early. My first real instrument was the saxophone, and I started that around age 10.
Okay. And Zach,
guitar for me.
Guitar. Yeah, I got back into playing drums a few months ago after 10 years. So I was very excited to get back into that. I did want to circle back to some of my favorite tracks from the video game because you mentioned it. Reseda.
Great.
And of course the dojo theme too. And the way you guys remixed it, like for Cobra Kai 2 Dojos Rising, was just phenomenal. Just the way you slowed it down. Yeah.
Loved that we did that too. I remember that too. The Reseda is actually one of my favorites too because we got Myrone on that. Myrone's a guitar player who plays on and he's played on every Cobra Kai season.
We should shout him out. Guitar player who also now writes amazing video game music of his own.
What are some of the current works that he's done?
What is that game, Zach? Arrow.
Okay, so everyone needs to look up Myrone and the album. He just released
Arrow GPX.
Arrow GPX. Pat, who goes by Myrone, is like top tier video game music master. He knows his shit. Like if you love all the stuff we've been talking about,
love this album.
You'll lose it. And then Drift Stage was a video game that didn't get made, but he made the soundtrack for it. And that's kind of how I got introduced to Myrone. So if you love racing game soundtracks, Myrone is the guy, and he is a part of the Cobra Kai family. He did the solos on Enter the Sekai Taikai, Karate Time, Miyagi Metal, King Cobra.
That's awesome.
Like he's
played on every season. Yeah.
Yep.
So shout out Myrone, man. Definitely go check out his work. So while we're on the subject of video games, I'm just looking at my questions over here on the side. Is it true you guys still play Overwatch? Am I correct? I think I saw like a Reddit anime.
Zach plays Overwatch.
Okay. Are you still playing now?
No, I'm playing Marvel Rivals.
Yes, I was about to ask. Okay, who's your main? Let's go.
Sorry, Leo. I play healer, and I actually, like, after 3 months just started playing Rocket, and now since I've been playing Rocket, I have won maybe like 10 in a row on multiple. Like this is now like I'm a Rocket main is like now how it is. But I did play Mantis and I played Luna, and it's funny because like now that we work on Marvel stuff now, I feel like this connection to it. Yeah. And I added Jeff, Leo, but I haven't played with Jeff.
Oh, he's
the showrunner of Spider-Man, but I really want to know if he plays Spider-Man. But it's a great game. I mean, I played Overwatch since it came out, and I was addicted to it. Now I'm just addicted to Marvel Rivals. So,
same. Who Overwatch mains? Who were your mains?
Sorry, Leo.
Go for it.
Zenyatta, and Zarya and Moira.
Awesome. I was at.
How about yours?
Wrecking Ball was one of my mains.
Oh wow. Okay.
A lot of people. I was one of those things where I hated fighting one so much that out of spite it became a Wrecking Ball main, and I was learning. Otherwise, I was kind of also learning Rhine. I was getting pretty good at Rhine for a while. Played Roadhog. I was kind of a weak deep. I didn't really play a lot of DPS just because I was either tank or healing. But soldier in.
Are you a tank in Rivals?
Healer actually too. So I also main Zenyatta. I'm a lore proficient Jeff main.
Okay. So, lore proficient.
Yeah, because that's like the highest proficiency you get on the character. I've gotten a few 5 and 6 man kills. Actually, one of my clips I have on my gaming channel, me and my friend recreated this duo kill where I swallowed the whole team as Jeff, spat it out, and he snapped him as Wanda. It took so much like practice.
That's pretty sick.
Like that, so
the combos are very fun in that game. I think that's what they did a really good job. Like it's like, you know,
exactly.
People love to shit on Marvel, but they did a really good job.
No, dude, it's so fun, man. I was getting frustrated these past couple nights because like I wanted to really progress up in ranked because I was like silver 2 and then I dropped back down to silver 3. So you know,
Leo, just to inform you that there's kind of this like slot machine casino aspect to these games where the adrenaline that you get from a win and like being like, oh, I'm gonna do one more round, is actually affects your physical state and mental state.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's designed.
This is why I actually have designed my current house to have very few video game anything in it.
Dude, oh my god! Leo has like a beautiful like screening room. Like if that was
if I put a system in there, I would never leave. So like I can't like literally. I have a 110-inch projector screen in there. I would never stop.
So to use a Cobra Kai analogy, kind of go off what Zach's saying, Leo. You know how like good Robbie felt after he beat Kwon in season 6, episode 9? That's what it's like to get a win, especially when somebody talks shit to you and you talk shit back. Like I think my favorite line I said one time was like, "Welcome to Shark Week, bozo," and I just signed.
Nice.
Left the chat.
Hell yeah.
So that's how like it's just that's the best feeling, man.
Can I shout out?
Yes,
that's
please.
Amazing, and that reminds me. And I don't know how many people in your chat are. This will also maybe age, but it's not that old. But like playing Halo 2 and 3, you don't know how good it was when you finish a game and then they put you in the lobby with your opponents, so then you could just yell at each other. Not just your team, but your opponents, and you just yelled at each other. And it was so fun to just scream at random people on video games. I loved it. I miss it so much.
Oh, man. Hey, I wanted to be conscious of your time because I'm enjoying, but I want to make sure. How are you on time?
I'm good.
Okay.
We're good.
I'm having a great time.
Good, dude. Thank you. You guys are like my 3rd interview, so this is like it's a lot of fun. So
great.
Speaking of games, how familiar with? Well, first, Leo, is there any games you're currently playing right now? Before or
I know
really?
I'm currently playing nothing.
He can't do
Fair
it.
enough.
He can't do it.
Fair enough. But how familiar with both were either of you with Twisted Metal before composing the music?
Oh, I used to play it.
Okay.
Like, awesome. but like literally, I probably not Twisted Metal 1. I need to look up some pictures. Probably the second one.
Yeah, whatever the first PlayStation one, I think it might have been 1 or 2 for me too.
I think it was 2 is the one that I probably played. I'm just looking at some gameplay.
Yeah, no, take your time.
Because 1 was, when did Twisted Metal 1 come out?
It was like, that was like 93,
95. Yeah, that was, and 2 came out. You know what? It's possible it was even Twisted Metal 3, but I think Twisted Metal 2 is the first one I played.
Okay.
And then Twisted Metal 3, I think the plot became a lot more.
Right. The first couple Twisted Metals, like there's no plot, and then they started adding narrative stuff.
Yeah, the third one got very narrative.
So I was gonna say, for me, growing up first, Super Nintendo was my very first console. Still one of my greatest. I still think one of the greatest video game libraries of all time. So then N64. So I played Twisted Metal at a friend's house. I can't remember the name of the main, but it was the guy that drove the hearse. I forgot what his name is, but you guys might.
Is that Grim?
Grim. It's Grim.
Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. That's who I play. I don't know who either of you guys' mains were. If you remember your mains from those games.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea.
I don't know if 6-year-old, 5-year-old me was like, this is who I main.
Yeah, fair enough.
Twisted Metal, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Zach, what's your favorite buddy cop movie?
Rush Hour. Easy.
Oh, yeah.
Harder question.
I had to ask.
No, Rush Hour is like actually one of my, not just buddy cop, it's like top
That's
5.
one of the best movies. Like
it's one of the best movies.
Yeah. So how do you? So here's a question: what do y'all think is the best? I really like 2 more than 1, but I know some people kind of add about 3. Yeah. So
2's great.
Yeah.
They're both good. 3's bad. The
Okay.
first two are
What
good.
is the plot of 3?
They go to Paris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do.
2 is great though.
Exactly. Yeah, there, especially like the don't stop till you get enough references, and like Michael Jackson references and
Yeah.
stuff. So
I would do anything to score a Rush Hour. I would do anything.
all right, you guys listen out there. We need Zach and Leo on Rush Hour. There's no Rush Hour 4.
Rush Hour 4.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
There probably will be at some point.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be like direct to Netflix, like just total cash grab. Like
Yeah.
So I would, the only thing I do like about 3, and I forget his name, but the main bad guy was Scorpion in Mortal Kombat 2021, which was really cool. Yeah.
who's in Shogun?
Yes. His name slips me right now.
Hiroki. I don't know. I don't remember his last name.
Yeah. So
The leading
guys,
Shogun.
6 months ago, in our box office on Reddit, there's a post about some article. Oh, it was Hollywood Reporter. Rush Hour 4 being shopped to studios.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
There we go.
I'll be putting a Google alert on
Warner
that
Brothers,
one.
the longtime distributor of the films, are allowing Rush Hour 4 to be licensed elsewhere.
Gotcha.
However, Brett Ratner's involvement has been a non-starter.
Yeah,
for several
he's not
studios.
going to be in it. He's not going to be involved. But I will say there's not many gigs that Leo and I that translate really well from Cobra Kai to that gig, because Cobra Kai is such a specific sound. But I do think
Rush Hour
Rush
would be
Hour
one of
could be one of them.
Easy,
Yeah,
easy.
I actually think that.
Here's a random question. So, as I mentioned, Zach, me and my fiance got engaged in December.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What's some advice you could give me as somebody that's I've been asking this some of my guests that have been married and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, let me ask some advice about this.
Advice about what? Like your
marriage in general. Yeah.
Marriage, it's like nothing changes. If you've got a good relationship, it's gonna be great, and I think it makes you it just makes your bond so much stronger. And you're just gonna there's definitely like you're just gonna feel a warmth and happiness, and I'm stoked for you. I love being married. It's really cool.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So here, as we transition to the Cobra Kai stuff, because a lot of questions I got for you guys, especially myself being a musician. First question: how do you guys warm up in the studio? Like, how do you get into the mindset of writing music? Like, is there a process that you got, routines? Like, tell me about that.
Leo might have some more than I do.
I don't know. I sit down in the morning and I like to say turn on the faucet and music comes out, and sometimes it's really good and sometimes it's pretty bad, but it comes out regardless, and it's kind of just about learning how to ride those ideas to something
I love that
good.
Analogy. You've said that for years, and I love that. Like, we just sit down, turn on the music faucet, music has to come out. So
I think Cobra Kai gives us a lot of inspiration. Just every time, like whenever we finish a season, we're always like, how are we going to do more of this? Like it got so big, the plot's so crazy. We did, we used all the themes, all the different ways. And then whenever we start a new one, we sit down and it's like, we're gushing with like inspiration, like from the very first episode. And, by the time we're a few episodes in, we're like really lubed up and ready to go.
Yeah, that's awesome. A quick question from the chat. This is from Chris. He says, has there ever been a piece, and this was kind of a question I was also going to ask too, has there ever been a piece that you initially wanted to scrap but eventually made into the show?
Oh, interesting.
There were some things that were scrapped, not by our choice, that then eventually made it into the show later. Something that we wanted.
That we thought was bad, maybe at the first one that made it,
or even when we were first working out the idea, maybe it like wasn't working.
I have to think about that, but there's maybe Leo could think of one, but I will say that there's definitely stuff that was thrown out at one point that we generally can try to find a home for somewhere. But then it was funny because like John, Josh, and Hayden, especially towards the last couple seasons, like were pretty down with everything we sent. So
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
one of the original, the kind of Easter egg that I talk about is that the original hallway hellscape, which was the hallway fight in season 2, the school fight, the original first pass of that is turned into a track called Shopping Mall on the video game soundtrack. So we tossed it, wrote something else, which was then now hallway hellscape, what it is, and then we had this piece of music, or part of it. It was like half of it was done,
Right.
and then we turned it into the game.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that I feel like we don't often turn in things that we're like not stoked about.
Right.
But I don't know. If I think of one while we're still talking, I'll say it.
So here's a question, because and maybe you guys may or may not know the answer to this and whatnot too. So Awake the Snake, which is heavily associated with John Kreese. That's the very first track on the season 1 soundtrack. Was that supposed to be at the end of Ace Degenerate instead of what the hell is that song they use in the outro? Serious. Was that supposed to be there, or do you know where it was supposed to be originally for the show?
It was supposed to be there.
Okay. I see.
There was just some timing with some music licensing. Once the die is cast and you say you're going to license something, you kind of have to license it. And we were working on a parallel track, and some wires got crossed. But it all worked out great, because that piece is really kind of the lifeblood of the show in a lot of ways.
Right. Yeah. It because I noticed it wasn't used until the credits of season 2, episode 10. So that was something I kind of had always noticed. I was like, why wasn't this used early? And I had imagined it was supposed to be used around, the scene that I was talking about and whatnot too. It's definitely one of my favorite tracks for sure too. So then, still on the speaking on season 1 soundtrack, Balance was never used in the show either, right? The track Balance.
Oh, that wasn't. I forgot that.
Oh,
no,
that was not. But a bunch of that, every part of that track has been then ripped apart and used in the show all over the place, including there's like this big counter line in the violins in the middle part, and that is like now part of No Crying in Karate in the most recent season. Like, it sounds totally different, but every bit of that has been mine. We actually wrote that for the training scene with Daniel and Robbie, and then after the tree, like there's like a montage where they use some of the original Conti music, and there was a moment where we were not going to use the Conti music, and I think the Conti music was a good idea because it takes you back. The Conti, it just sounds like the original movies because of the recording from back then. To me, it has less to do with the music and more to do with how it sounds, where it's like you can't imagine anything else. But yeah, I mean, we were working. It was kind of like us working out one of our big Miyagi-Do theme, and then we've since used it everywhere.
Right. While we're on the subject, this was another question. Have you guys ever interacted or ever talked to Bill Conti at all?
Nope.
No,
never.
No, really?
Never.
We're down. We've never talked to him, and
we don't know if he knows the show exists.
Yeah, we had that joke where he's like, "What's the show?" We did. Our publicist met him once and said like, "Oh, I rep the composer who do Cobra Kai," and then he said he's like, "Here's my number. Like, tell him to call me. But we never called him.
I gotcha. Okay.
But we have met a lot of other 80s composer icons.
Yes, including Vince DiCola.
Vince DiCola.
Oh yeah.
Paul
who played It's Karate Time with us live. Like that was pretty sick.
I wasn't there live, but I remember
his band opened for us, and they're way better than us. So like, it was
great,
amazing.
Yeah. Did you guys also? And I might be mispronouncing his name, so excuse me. Paul Herzog.
I got lunch with in the Valley.
That's awesome.
That was really cool. He's the composer for Bloodsport, for those who don't know.
And Kickboxer too, right?
Kickboxer as well.
Yep.
And Kickboxer.
Yeah. Because Like a Dance is one of my favorite tracks from you guys of all time, and here's kind of a segue into that. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the video game soundtrack was really great. Was it always just like, hey, we want you guys to compose new music, or or like, hey, use some tracks in the show? Because I always thought if there was like a bonus or like a training mini game to like practice your skill, like if that was a feature that was made in the karate, or excuse me, the first Cobra Kai game, I always thought Like a Dance would have fit in there perfectly because of, you know, in the importance of that song in the show is showing that like there's no one way, but you know, that both good lessons for both Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do, like keep moving forward and find your balance. So was it always just like, hey, make new music, or was there an idea to use like leitmotifs from the soundtrack as well for the game?
We couldn't use anything from the show.
Wow.
It was like a licensing situation.
Really?
Yeah. Which was honestly, I think I kind of liked
I
that.
liked it because it separated kind of the thematic baggage in that context, like from just finding the vibe of the video game. Like I feel like the video game was a real vibe exercise.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I always say that the video game is like Cobra Kai, the Cobra Kai score in its like pure form, because
okay.
the Cobra Kai score is so inspired by video games that like, again, like this was us, and like props to Game Mill, like the company that made it, because like they literally just like kind of let us do whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were just sending them stuff and they're like, great. I remember like once they sent an email like, this kind of sounds like Naruto, like, are you sure you want to do this? We're like, yeah, for sure. That actually is like the worst thing you could have said to make us maybe want to change something.
Yeah. Another track I really like from that game too, I forgot to mention, Cutscene Tension. That's another favorite one of mine too. So
Oh, yeah.
I love that the names.
The names are so
like,
good.
I love that too, because Cutscene Tension, I just remember, okay, just bear with me for a second. Like,
Yeah,
I remember, this is making me so happy talking about this. I, like, when I had my iPod, like, going to school, like, I had on my iPod, I ripped, like, all these old video game soundtracks, like Double Dragon, Power Rangers, the movie, the video game
I was
soundtrack,
gonna ask you about that
which
too.
is, like, crucial, like, all the Neo Geo, like, console game stuff. Like, I had all these soundtracks. And all of them, they were just rips. They were not official soundtrack releases. So someone just recorded the music from the game. And they all had names like that. Like Cutscene Tension, like Cutscene Emotional, and then Staff Roll, which was my favorite, which we have a staff roll on ours. And that is just, for me, like my one little treat that we got to like name things like that. But that's the reason why it's called that, like such a bland name.
Well, hey, I didn't think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
where was Big Houses supposed to be used originally? That was the unused track, right?
Oh yeah, that one we just like, honestly, they changed
No, they might have. I think they got rid of the level. They got rid of the level.
They got rid of the level.
Okay.
Because it was constantly changing, and every few weeks they would send us a new list. And so that was the one where they got rid of a level, and for whatever reason we couldn't put it somewhere else, or maybe everything else was spoken for at that point. So like. It was just like an extra track we had.
Was that supposed to be like, I guess like I'm not gonna say Reseda, but like kind of like the rich neighborhood, like Encino? No, maybe not Encino.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was supposed to be in the rich neighborhood.
Okay.
But the thing about that game was we knew we didn't have any footage of the game. We just knew that there were big levels, so that's why that's why some of the songs are 3 minutes long, and then that there were smaller levels, and that was 2 minutes long. So that, I think we just had the assignment that there was like X amount of smaller levels, and Big Houses was in one of those small levels. It's hilarious that team was in Brazil who made that game.
Right.
I'm from Encino, California. I am from Encino and Sherman Oaks, and it was hilarious to see the like map geography that they made of the valley for that game, and then that they were saying like, oh yeah, this is on Woodley Avenue. Like they just went on like Google Maps and like saw
and like pulled
streets.
some streets,
and these are streets where like I would like go and like get a bagel with my dad, like you know, like random streets. It was so funny to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I thought a lot of people are kind of mixed about the first game, but I thought it was as close as you could get to a beat 'em up with some of the fighting game mechanics.
Yeah, exactly. That's totally what it was.
Yeah, so yeah. I thought it was really good. Dojos Rising, I've kind of been very vocal about how I really wish they would have spent more time on that game. But of course, I mean, you guys definitely shine through with the music. I mean, the music's always the highlight for me.
Thank you.
Hardest leitmotif you had to write for a character in the show?
Just Robbie, period, because
because he doesn't have one.
Because he doesn't have one until because no. This I think it's actually kind of interesting because like Robbie we didn't write a theme for. Well, first of all, the way we should talk about the way we write themes, which is we don't know they're going to be themes until later. Would be the short way of describing it. We don't like to. Every project's different, so sometimes you do something like this, but we don't think it's like super effective to prescribe ahead of time all the things you need themes for and then like write them, because you might end up shoving a square peg in a round hole.
Mm-hmm.
What we did with Cobra Kai is like write pieces of music that felt right as they came up, that sometimes were thematic. And then as we wrote more cues, it was kind of discovered what the themes were and what they represented. So like, for example, I guess the earliest theme we wrote was Ace Degenerate, which is the opening scene basically of Johnny.
Right.
That was not the first thing we wrote. The first thing we wrote was Strike First. Which also like, what is Strike First as a theme? What's it a theme for? I'm not sure. It's the music that Johnny hears in his own head when he like thinks he's being a badass. But like ultimately it's kind of, before it was on Netflix, it was not the end credits music. Right. Now it's the end credits music. So like now it's sort of more associated with the show. Mm-hmm. We didn't really use Strike First in a different context, I don't think, until like season 4 with some of the Sekai Taikai stuff, where we kind of, reinterpreted it and it became like a backbone in its karate time.
The All Valley stuff.
Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry. The All Valley stuff. So many tournaments, man.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, are you talking about 84, 50th? Yeah,
Yeah, Ace Degenerate, like, sure, we wrote that theme, but it was never really like Johnny's theme, I guess, until we started using it elsewhere and it felt appropriate. Right. In episode 2 of season 1, we wrote a piece called Miyagi Memories, mm-hmm. which became one of many Miyagi themes. That one is not so much the Miyagi-Do theme. You don't hear that until episode 5, I don't think. Right. And then I think you hear it at the end of 5, but it's not really until 6 where I feel like it gets like the holy element to it when Robbie's spying on Daniel doing his kata. Right. And Miyagi Memories that theme is more about Daniel's relationship with Miyagi, mm-hmm. in his memory. It's always kind of like this, like, he's looking back. You hear it again in 205 after he goes to the grave site and there's like a Miyagi voiceover thing, and you hear like a redone version of Miyagi. Yeah, 105 of Miyagi Memories from 102. And so like we kind of just like write these things and then figure out how to use them, and then by once we start doing that, they become themes and they're really embedded in there. And I think actually this is why Cobra Kai has ended up being one of the most thematic scores on television, if not the most thematic score on television. I think there's a strong argument that it is, of anything in the last 25 years. I honestly, possibly any TV show ever, because we typically associate these types of scores with movie trilogies. Cobra Kai might have the most themes worked through symphonically of any show in television history. Like,
it's so great.
I throw that challenge out there. Someone find one, because it's not fucking Rings of Power.
It's not in Game of Thrones, and it's not Rings of Power. So like,
No, real quick from the chat, Ahmed wanted me to tell you guys that he enjoyed the Sekai Taikai song, which I think is Enter the Sekai Taikai, but you guys used the leitmotif in Let the Games Begin, I think, right? Is that correct?
Yes, but we actually set it up a season earlier in
that's right.
507.
Yes.
Globo Kai.
Yeah.
Globo Kai, I think, is when it first gets set up. Yeah.
So
and then actually the episode after that, when they're like hosting the like judges from the Sekai Taikai, there's like one montage and like you hear the theme there. It's much more orchestral there, but
right.
Yeah.
So actually, I have so many questions to ask you guys, but let me not ignore the chat for a quick second. So Bilbo Boggins wants to know, which season of Cobra Kai was your favorite, and which movie from the Karate Kid quadrilogy was your favorite?
That's like a really hard question.
Yeah. I think Karate Kid 1 is my favorite, just I don't know. You can't have the other ones without that one.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pick favorite seasons.
Same. It's
I
just so
really
hard.
like
Yeah, I
season
can't.
4. I'm not even sure I could pick it from a score perspective because that's
Why
too.
don't we say in this final season, Leo? What do you think is your favorite in this last season?
Wait, just like of the 3 blocks?
Yeah, favorite scene, favorite score from
Oh,
that.
favorite scene. Oh, block 2 is my favorite. And like,
For sure.
I don't know, possibly Kwon-Bat, possibly just the entire end of 610, the last 15, 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of think maybe the best Cobra Kai score bit ever though is it's Karate Time, opening of 409.
Rocky 4 vibes for sure.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's pretty great. I think like for me, I'm just gonna keep it to the last season because there's really too much. But I will say, and maybe we can link to it later, Stryfe.
Sure.
Leo and I did a very extended interview with ScreenRant recently that came out like a couple weeks ago, where we talk in depth about our favorites and like most underrated tracks from each season.
Yes.
So maybe Leo can put it in the chat.
I'm gonna put it in the chat right now.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
It's super fun. It was fun for us to talk about. I mean, honestly, I really love both. On the soundtrack, it's called Absolute Resolve, No Mercy Left, which is Tori versus
Oh, yeah.
on the second. And then I love Slither Final Form. I just think those two, which is Miguel's final point, and I just think that those two are like were very special for us to write those. And Karate Kid, anything Terry Silver, I just think is the best. I'm so sad that Terry Silver's not gonna be like a part of my life anymore in that way. Like I'm very sad.
Right.
Honestly, it makes me sad. Like he was very inspiring. I loved just his whole vibe and energy.
Yeah. So I don't know how familiar you guys with my channel. So the very first video I did was why Johnny Lawrence is the better sensei, because what I really liked about the early season, I mean throughout the show, honestly, but is that Johnny was purposely written with the elements of Mr. Miyagi. So one of the comparisons I made is when I was comparing the music of Strike First and Fish and Train from the original score, was the pan flute purposely used in Strike First a callback to that leitmotif in the original Karate Kid film? Because it's like do 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 or something like that. It sounded, but it was like very quick. It's like near the end of the track Strike First. I think was that on purpose to match like with Johnny kind of recreating, saving his Daniel from, the bullies and stuff like that.
I love that, and I really just encourage that you continue to make connections like that. It has nothing to do with anything. It is just I think the pan flute that we had that goes doo doo doo, and that is just us being like, that is a very 80s musical trope.
Okay.
Is the synth pan flute. It's not a real pan flute. That's a synth pan flute from the Korg one.
Okay.
And that is us doing a little nod. In fact, that lick I think is lifted from Push It to the Limit from Scarface.
Oh.
If you listen to Push It to the Limit, you'll hear that do do do.
Yeah. Okay.
I love the energy, and I love I love that stuff. So
yeah, but it sounded almost. I know it wasn't exact, but it sounded just like part of like one of the parts of Fish and Train from the original score, and I was like that. I mean, that's obviously definitely a connection and stuff like that.
It could be that little lick. Yeah. It's like it could be. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I don't know if I'm really familiar with that track, but it is. I don't know. Like it's to us. I think that is just such an 80s lick.
Okay.
So well, hey, it could just be, in our subconscious, just like.
Yeah, it was, because like I've studied the soundtracks like kind of very extensively, and well, to kind of circle it back to Bill Conti, what's one of y'all's favorite compositions of his from the first 3 films, or like a leitmotif?
I don't know any of the names.
We like the one. I mean, we used it. We like.
Oh, On to Miyagi's. I love On to Miyagi's. Which goes do 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 do. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the doom 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 dum 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 dum.
Yep.
We love that. We use that all the time. My favorite we kind of stopped using it after season 3, I think, because we just had like
Yeah.
just a depth of our own music, and we just wanted to do that. But I do love when in season 3, when Daniel is in Okinawa and he enters like Miyagi's like temple or whatever, and we
Oh
hear
yeah.
that theme on like
Oh,
male
the choir
choir.
was so good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it's
so
super
sick.
Halo.
Yeah.
It's super
It's
Halo.
really Halo, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it was
so sick.
Yeah,
Wait, that reminds me, before I
sure,
forget,
go ahead.
Leo, I feel like, okay, so like my wife and I are watching part 3 right now because, she's never seen it. So we're watching it, and I just I forgot that we used like the choir in the Kim stuff, like after Kim Daeun kills her grandfather, and we
Oh
have
yeah.
the Kim Sung Young theme on like the mid just solo choir.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it was
It's
very
sick.
Halo, and I meant to text it. I was like, this is so cool. I forgot that we did that.
That's awesome. So the choir and crane technique, that was Halo inspired then, is what you're saying.
I wouldn't say it was Halo inspired, but it
Yeah.
is very reminiscent of Halo.
Reminiscent.
Like
It's very
when we
reminiscent.
listen to it, it's like, oh damn, that is
Yeah,
like
dude,
the same. It gives the
yeah.
same vibe.
Yeah,
But also,
go ahead, sir.
Gregorian chants are some of the earliest Western music of all time, and
Right.
then now Halo has co-opted that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So no, yeah, I've always I love when you guys like do like accent the like leitmotifs like that too. Like my favorite, definitely one of my favorites is when you guys do the Ace Degenerate leitmotif with the pan flute and No Be There. That, like, when I heard that, I was like, yes, because like it was like Johnny finally learning Miyagi-Do and things like that. So
That was on purpose.
yeah,
Glad
Yes.
you caught
yeah.
that.
So and then here's another thing too in season 1, because I made this into a short, was I love that you guys lifted Terry Sneaks In from Karate Kid Part 3 and at the end of Miyagi-Do because of Robbie's Terry Silver like plot. And I'm surprised nobody else had ever commented that. If you guys kind of know what I'm talking about, where it's like kind of like the oboe like sound at the end of that song.
Oh,
Wait, which
I
track?
remember. Yeah,
It's called
at the
Miyagi-Do.
end of Leo, I remember when we were working on that, we got a note from like Hayden or John or something that was like, we need to have it be a little more sinister towards the end of this track. It was with Robbie, and he's in the dealership, and he decides like, oh yeah, I'm gonna
Episode
like
5,
stick it to my
season
dad
1.
in episode 5. Do you remember this? It's at the end of Miyagi-Do, the cue.
Oh yeah,
Miyagi-Do.
yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't remember,
But I
if that's
don't
a Terry
remember
Silver
how
It
callback.
is.
I don't
It
remember
is.
how it's not a Terry. Does it sound like
No,
Terry
it's
Silver?
al-
That
it's
came
almost-
long before
Look,
any Terry Silver.
But here's the thing. It's almost, I wouldn't say note for note, but it's from the track called Terry Sneaks In, and it obviously where Terry Silver in Karate Kid Part 3 breaks in, looks at the metal and stuff like that. If you listen to that track, it's like almost same type of instrumentation, things like that too. So I thought that was another brilliant use of the leitmotif, because even when you look at season 1, episode 4, Cobra Kai Never Dies, Robbie has his hair slicked back in a ponytail like Terry Silver at the beginning because he's always up to no good. So I thought that was like a really great callback too, and like I'm
We're
surprised.
more brilliant than we even know.
So
I was gonna say we'll take the credit. I don't know how much. Maybe it is. I do remember that note, and maybe we listened to that track or something.
Yeah. So
It
but
goes
yeah,
do 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 do.
Yep.
Do do do
Yeah.
do.
it's very
remember
similar to it. So so I want to circle back to David Wise, because you definitely referenced the making of, or like his music when you guys were composing Heart of the Cobra. So somewhat kind of related to Cobra Kai. Do you have a favorite track from those first 2 or 3 games from Donkey Kong Country?
Leo, what's your favorite track from Donkey Kong Country 3?
I think this is a Zach question.
No, I
Okay.
mean, I aquatic ambience. Only because sometimes you just gotta go with the legendary ones, you know.
Right.
But that is when we in that video where we talk about Heart of the Cobra, we say that's the Donkey Kong level part. It's a reference to it's like that flute synth combo with it does have that aquatic ambience vibe
Right.
to it.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask, have y'all heard of a YouTube channel called Jammin' Sam Miller?
No.
No.
So he's working on it. Highly recommend it. So what he did is he uncompressed all the music from Donkey Kong like in Studio HD quality. And what I really liked about it is, so for Gangplank Galleon, which is the final boss theme of Donkey Kong Country 1, that part sounds like guitar was a synthesizer the whole time. And I was like, holy crap. Just like when you guys were talking about how genius David Wise, like for him to compress that sound, for it to sound like a guitar to come out of the 16-bit sound chip was just amazing.
Yeah.
And to answer my Hothead Bop is probably like one of my favorites I like listening to right now.
Which one is that?
Lava Level from Donkey Kong Country 2.
Cool.
It has like kind of a very somewhat of a New Jack Swing drum beat.
Nice.
It has like piano and stuff like that and stuff. So this question's from my friend Joe. So Joe, if you're watching, I looked out for you, buddy. How difficult was it to keep the 80s vibe on the music but still be so up to date on the music genre now when writing music for Cobra Kai?
Not hard at all.
It wasn't that hard because like there's a whole 80s, you know, maybe the biggest influence is like 80s hair metal. And we kind of, with a lot of guitar stuff, especially as the seasons went on, really tried to bring sort of like contemporary metal, like evolve it into contemporary metal. And so I feel like we never ran out of inspo there when we could even do more.
Yeah. And we're pretty like, we just listen to a lot of different music, like between the two of us, and we're always like really interested in listening to new music, and we get really inspired by new music. So I feel like it was very natural. And we just both are like big 80s boys anyway. So like it never felt like we were like posing as people that like didn't know how to like do. It's not like every day we were showing up being like, how are we gonna like do our 80s thing today? It was very, I think that's part of why we got the gig, was because we like kind of had this pitch, like this is what the sound should be. So
Right.
it was pretty easy for us to do that.
That's awesome. Quick question from the chat too, from Chris. I love the Power Ranger influence on tracks like Mall Fight in season 2.
Oh yeah.
Would you guys be interested in scoring a future Power Rangers project, or would it feel too similar to Cobra Kai?
Oh yeah.
No, of course.
Oh,
of course
yeah.
we would be, dude.
We would absolutely love to do that.
Yeah. In fact, I actually, Leo knows this, that this is something that we have discussed for many years. And I took a screenshot of every single YouTube comment that said that these guys should do the Power Rangers when it comes back.
That's awesome, dude.
And I have a screen PDF of every comment that said that. And it's a lot of comments. And I sent it to our agent. And I said, just letting you know, this is what the internet thinks about us doing a Power Rangers, which does not exist currently. And who knows if it will ever exist.
Right.
But like, yeah, we want to do freaking Power Rangers.
Favorite Ranger of all time? Tommy?
I mean, Tommy's sick. I just told on the red carpet for season 6, they asked who our first crush was, and I said Pink Ranger was my first crush.
That's awesome. Yeah, I had the pleasure to meet the original, well, not the original 6. Rest in peace, Twee. I never got to meet her. Rest in peace, David. I did get to, or excuse me, Jason David Frank. I did get to meet him. Actually met him a couple times. There was a really cool story. So back at Space City Con in 2016, this was a con in Houston. I'm from Houston, by the way. So the con owner was kind of like pulling the rug out some of the guests. So like a lot of the guests were either leaving or they were switching to cash only and whatnot. And I'm sure you guys have known, like over the years, JDF always had huge lines at comic conventions. So I got in line like an hour early. When I got to his handler, they're like, hey, we're doing cash only. And I was like, my heart sank because I was like, man, I had been waiting for an hour. They're like, hey, well, go talk to him, see what he says. And I said, look, hey, I want to say hi real quick. I want to get a picture with you, but I didn't realize you were doing cash only. He's like, well, I got you, man. What do you want? And I was like, well, I just really like a picture with you. So I had a Green and Jetty, like cosplay and stuff and whatnot. And so he signed my helmet and gave the picture free, man. I was really thankful to meet him. So that's cool. Really like, a lot of people say don't meet your heroes, but he always was Tommy, like on and off the screen, man. He treated his fans with
that's cool,
utmost respect. So to kind of loop it back into Power Rangers, so for Cobra Kai 2 Dojos Rising, was the All Valley tournament a lift from the Power Rangers SES level 1?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
It was.
Yeah.
That is insane that you just made that connection.
Yeah, no, I I'm, as you guys can tell already, music and video game nerd and stuff too. So did you guys enjoy the very first Power Rangers SNES game? I don't know if you just played.
That's the non-movie one, right? That's
Right,
just like the
right.
no. I did not play that as much as
Okay.
the movie one. What is the actual? I'm trying to think of what the lift is that you just referenced.
It's level. It's the level 1 from the game. I think,
know, but
yeah.
it goes. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. We borrowed a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Wow, incredible! I'm so impressed.
Yeah,
We
thank
sent
you.
a lot of that soundtrack back and forth
Yeah.
for a bit.
The Power Rangers one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Power Rangers one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like-
mean, that was on my iPod in those days.
Like like I know a lot of fans out there like the Ivan Ooze final theme from that game too. That was like,
that
really,
one
really
is
good.
that track is so good, Leo. I've sent you that track before. Because I remember like sometimes when we were like working on Cobra Kai, I remember sending some of these tracks. So I also like the ski level. It's like they're on a mountain.
Oh yeah.
skiing.
Yep.
I forgot what that one is. Yeah, it's so good. Such a good soundtrack. It's crazy.
So, quick question from the chat. Jeremy Carr says, "What is your go-to music effect when you first started, and is it the same effect you go to when writing today?"
What do you mean effect?
Yeah, elaborate, Jeremy, if you can. I don't know if he means like guitar effect or whatnot. I guess I'll give him
like
time to answer.
musical tool, perhaps.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm sure he'll respond here pretty soon.
In Cobra Kai, it might be synth pan flute. Works every time. Like,
Yeah.
Chorus, phase, flange.
Oh, okay. Guitar effects or pedal effects.
I mean,
Okay.
we love some chorused guitar on Cobra Kai.
There's certain things you can't
12
use.
string with chorus.
12 string with chorus. Yeah, like I was gonna say, there's stuff that you can't really get away with on other television shows or movies. Chorus guitar is one of those things.
Right.
You put a chorus guitar on like a movie soundtrack, and people will think it's like Speed 1995. Like it's a bit of a dated sound,
Oh,
but
yeah.
we love it. That means we use it.
Definitely. I gotta get some more chat questions. I have like a whole bunch of lists of stuff. I feel so I'm like asking you guys all these things I've always wanted to know, like, and stuff like that. So first we got a comment from Ahmed who says, "Zach and Leo, why do you just make straight bangers every time? You guys always up the game." So we got that from Leo.
Thank you.
Melissa asked, "Your guys' music is absolutely beautiful. Out of all the characters who have gotten their own theme, which song would you say is your favorite?"
I like Terry Silver's.
You like Terry?
Yep.
Yeah, I just like as I was saying earlier, it's just like I'm very inspired by Terry Silver as a character, and every time he was on it, the last couple of episodes, I was so happy to be working on music that he was in the scenes. Like, and it's pure 80s, and honestly, like there's this track that we have very limited space on our albums, and I do wish we actually we should have put this track on the album, and I've seen a lot of people ask us about it, but the track when Terry tells Daniel and Johnny that he's sick at the LaRusso house, it's so like the Terry material is very 80s core, and like I just wish that we put that on the soundtrack, but I just love his palette, his melodies.
Right.
I love that.
So so then I have two questions about that, because I noticed that you guys did like a Binary Brothers remix of Word the Opponent in season 6, episode 4, when Dimitri and Hawk are fighting. Did that not make the cut either, or is that a bonus track?
That didn't make the cut.
That didn't make the cut just because it's similar to the Word the Opponent thing.
Man,
And like we try to like not
overuse.
do too much
Okay.
that's like the same like for the soundtrack, because again we have limited space, so it's
Fair.
like, oh well, that's
Fair.
already out there in the world, like let's make sure
Yeah.
we can get this other thing out instead.
I was gonna say, hell no, it should have been on the album, because it was definitely would have been my favorite track.
It's so short too. It's like
That's fair.
it's only like 15 seconds. That cool part is like only 15 seconds.
So then the scene in Strike Last where Tori is talking to Daniel, Amanda, and Sam, that track's not on the album either, right? Was that one was
Yeah,
really,
But
really
it's
good.
similar to something. It's very similar to something from the Part 1 album called.
What's it called? It's the Tori's mom flashback.
Yeah.
Fighters.
Oh, I see.
Fighters.
Dang.
And
basically
it's like
the same
almost
cue.
the exact same.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, see, I really wish I was looking because I had got early access to the show like a week ahead and stuff, and I was that was one of the ones I was really looking forward to as well. And I was like, dang, like when I saw it wasn't on there, I was like, man, it was
Well,
was
if
so
you listen
good.
to Fighters, that's
The same
basically
thing.
that.
Okay.
The ending's different, but
So-
yeah.
So then here I have another question. So, Like a Dance has the ha and like the chants in the show, but not on the soundtrack. Was that just something that you guys
But
just
yeah,
cut
people
from?
ask that all the time.
Yeah.
We see that all the time.
Is it?
Hayden requested that on. So when we work, we send all of our final mixes. We record everything, and then it gets mixed by Phil McGowan, who makes it all sound good.
Okay.
And then Phil sends it to our music editor, Andre Sloxy, who's a very big part of the music team on Cobra Kai, and he serves as the liaison essentially between us and the production with the creators. So he goes to all the final sound mixes,
Mhm.
and he is kind of the music representative at the final sound mixes. And a lot of times, if there's a music request, like they're watching it all down, John, Josh, and Hayden, and they say, you know what, we have some last minute music notes, Andres will take care of it. And
Okay.
I think there was a last minute note. Hayden, I think, wanted the Chants.
I
And
see.
so, and we didn't know that until it was too, like,
Until
we
the
saw
show
it.
came out. So we had
Yeah.
left them off of the soundtrack version. And then they ended
Gotcha.
up back. Like, we thought they were in there at some point, and at some point they went away. And so we thought we were making it the same as the show version.
Yeah.
I know. People get very upset about that. I'm
W-
sorry.
No, but it's. I mean, that really shows you how like what people really like. Because there's even a fan edits on YouTube of them mixing the chants in, and I was like, I always thought.
Well,
it was,
didn't
like,
we
really
get
cool
the
too.
chance in when we did the extended version?
No, we didn't do an extended version of Like a Dance.
Oh, we didn't?
No.
Oh,
You guys did
No, we
Quiver, Sam and Robbie, Cobra Guy, and
no, I guess
thing.
we don't have an extended version.
You're talking about on the Quiver. Was it Quiver or Cobra Kai?
On Wax Off EP.
Wax on. Yes. Yes.
No, we didn't do it. We didn't do
Okay.
an extension of Like a Dance.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
crazy we really haven't touched that track since it first
Yeah,
came out
it's
in
true.
season 2.
Yeah.
Like,
Sure,
a
it's
lot
kind
of
of a
other
one-off.
tracks have been mined for material or like redone as something else, and that one really has not been touched.
Yeah. That was really good.
Thanks.
So Pearl Necklace. Love
Nice.
love that
Hell yeah.
track.
Hell yeah.
Super anime.
Well, I was gonna ask, was there any Final Fantasy inspired
Yes.
piece specific with
Yes.
Okay. Was it Final Fantasy 14?
A specific piece? No.
No,
Okay.
it's just vibe.
So I don't know how to describe the music term, but it's like the piano part, the da 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 da. It's very similar to a track from Final Fantasy 14, which I actually have both up for comparison. If you guys want to take a quick listen, and
Sure.
I was wanting to know like what the technique of that piano is, or like what like
Yeah,
the
but
way
can you play
start
it while we're
I think
here?
so. Yeah, I think so. So give me a second. Let me. It might.
Is it the arpeggios? The
maybe
like,
it's
kind of
It might be. I
Yes.
think that's. I
flowing?
think it's. Yeah, I think that's
it's
what
like,
it
Yeah.
is.
That's a very I mean that's you
Okay.
know
It
it's
might-
called an arpeggio.
All right. So no, that's strike
Wow.
first. Can you? Okay, let me make sure. Can you guys hear this?
No.
Oh, you
No.
can't hear. Okay, so then I need to switch.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
That
Give me a
one
second.
that one's wild.
Present.
Well, it's probably an arpeggio,
Okay.
and it is that's a very kind of like JRPG type thing, but
So-
it's also like I mean it's a romantic period,
Right.
or like impressionistic Claude Debussy, which is very JRPG is influenced a lot by like early 20th century, late 19th century music.
Right. Okay, so it is arpeggio. So can you guys hear this now? Hold on.
No,
Damn.
No.
Okay. Well,
but
I'm
I
not gonna.
know the exact part you're talking
Okay,
about based
okay.
on the time
Yeah.
code.
So I'm gonna. Well, I'll post this in our chat. So it's around 2:25. You don't have to listen to it now, but if you guys get a chance to listen to, so it's there's a town in Final Fantasy 14, which is an MMORPG. The town's called Ishgard. There's a night theme that uses that very similar, but in their arpeggio they use the prelude leitmotif, which is
Cool.
prevalent and all stuff
Yeah.
like so. I thought it was very like I thought you guys had kind of went that route, like so. I was kind of right. JRPG. And
Yeah,
stuff like
for
that,
sure.
So,
For
yeah.
sure. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, we love JRPGs.
Yeah.
I was in an Uber like 6 months ago, and the driver was like listening to some like something. It was like the most random soundtrack. I didn't know what the soundtrack was, but I was just like, are you listening to a JRPG soundtrack? And because I could tell from that type of characteristic, like
Right.
from the piano, and he was like shook. He was just like, how did you get that from listening to just this piano? But that is, yeah, that's for sure inspired by.
Gotcha. Okay. A couple questions from the chat. Degenerate asks, "Hey Zach and Leo, synth has made it come through." I'm not okay. I might be misreading it, but he basically asks, "Which artists and or songs do you like from this era of synth?"
This era meaning current?
I think he means current.
Do you know, Leo? I have.
You'll have a better answer, but actually, I was listening to something the other day that I need to ask my girlfriend what track it was because it had an insane synth solo. When we were in the, I'm gonna mute myself.
Go ahead.
I love that. While he's finding that out,
Sure.
I think Sunglasses Kid, who's our buddy, he's one of the best kind of synthwave artists in the game. Period. He helped us out with the drums on Heart of the Cobra.
Okay.
He's amazing. You need to listen to him.
And what's his name again? Sorry.
Sunglasses Kid.
Sunglasses Kid. Okay.
Yeah, Sunglasses Kid.
He's amazing. And did you say that he did some drum programming for us?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. What was the track that you were discovering?
We're bringing it in.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Karate Dojo to Train, Cobra Kai, Eagle Finger, Miyagi-Do. Ramiro wants to know.
Ramiro, who works with us, Ramiro?
Sorry, Ramiro from the chat. So, yeah.
No, I know we work with a Ramiro. Yeah, I guess Cobra Kai for me. I guess.
Fair enough. Okay.
I think so. What is Leo?
I think. Gosh, I don't know. I'm kind of a wuss. I feel like I'd be a Miyagi-Do.
Hey, there's nothing wuss about balance, man.
No, I know there's nothing wuss,
true.
but on the surface, it's I want to
There
be
you go.
badass, but I'm not that badass.
We always used to say actually that I feel like Leo was Cobra Kai and I was Miyagi-Do just because I'm really like I'm kind of regiment. I'm a little more regimented.
Yeah, Zach's also all about like fairness. You know, like
Yeah,
Zach is
sure.
very balanced, and yeah. So maybe I would be Cobra Kai.
Maybe.
There you go.
I
Okay.
think Eagle Fang's a little too chaotic for me.
Yeah, I
I'm not
agree.
sure.
Me too. It's too chaotic for me too.
Degenerate follows up. For me, Chappelle Rowan uses synths really well in her songs. When he was asking about synths earlier.
Chapel Rowan.
I'm sorry, Chapel Rowan.
Yeah, for sure. I think
Yeah.
she does. Yeah.
Gotcha. So one question I definitely wanted to ask about Mortal Kwon-Bat, because I saw your guys' breakdown of that. Any inspiration from the Yakuza or Like a Dragon series? Because it sounded very similar to some tracks from Yakuza Kiwami.
What's the track from Yakuza that you think it sounds like? I'd be curious.
Kind of like
You'll have to link it because I'm
yeah,
familiar
sure.
with the game, but not as familiar with the soundtrack.
There's
but
quite-
I am curious.
Yeah, there's quite a few songs. Vertical Point, which is the intro.
Okay.
But yeah, let me link it real quick. So give me a second, guys.
Well, Leo can definitely provide some more insight, but I don't know how inspired it was from that.
I think it was
soundtrack.
more just like inspired by we were just kind of thinking about the freneticism of some of that music in Mortal Kombat, like
Okay.
we wanted it to feel very violent and high energy, like too high energy, so it makes you like uncomfortable and just
Right.
be really epic with the choir. So when we put all those ingredients together, it's probably similar to
Okay.
something else that also tried to put those ingredients together.
Yeah.
And we also built the cue around this, like literally this one synth patch from this synth, which is the Roland.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
that's awesome.
Roland JV. What is it? Roland JV and 1800, and it's like an orchestra hit, which is like literally
Right.
the Mortal Kombat, like dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun. It's like that sound.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one part that definitely reminded me of Yakuza is like kind of using the show as a reference, right? So when Robbie springs up and then zooms, like he has like the shots on his face like that, dun 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 dun. That was to me that sounded very Yakuza like, and even the cinematography as well reminded me like of a Yakuza like boss cutscene. I couldn't place because me and my friends were all big Yakuza fans. Like I actually cosplayed Kiryu a couple years ago at Anime Central. I actually did the full back tattoo temporary. Like I walked around like with the back tattoo and everything. And so we were all trying to figure out, like, I was like, this has to be like we're looking at the cinematography. This has to be, it's like something very Yakuza inspired, because there was one they used for Mike Barnes and Johnny when they punched at the same time. That's from a Yakuza cutscene, like the cinematography was at least. So,
I gotta be honest. If they are inspired by Yakuza, I would be shocked. Like if John, Josh, and Hayden knew that was like a Yakuza thing.
Yeah.
Maybe Hayden.
Gotcha.
I doubt it. And if they can prove me wrong on that. I know Hayden's a gamer though, and Hayden he always referenced Double Dragon and stuff when we were sending music in. Yeah. There's actually Hayden's favorite part. We just asked him this, like, what's your favorite part in part 3? And there's a keyboard solo in Johnny vs. Wolf that he loved, and it was such a random thing, but at the final dub he was like, turn the keyboard solo
or Johnny vs. Wolf, or on the soundtrack as it's called, Twin Fangs, the Serpent's Dance.
Yeah.
So that was so was that supposed
we got very anime with the track titles in the last
so their final form,
because we did there's something we really like about these anime soundtracks always feel like the track names are strangely, I'm not going to say badly, but strangely translated. Like there's always clearly it's not the exact usage of the word that's getting translated. And so they come out with these kind of weird syntaxes, and we just wanted to lean into that and do some ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's out there at the end of, how every Dragon Ball Z episode has an exclamation mark, sometimes multiple sentences. That's I think we were probably a little too afraid to put exclamation marks, but we were. Stryfe, we probably have 10 more minutes.
Yeah, sure. I'm really enjoying this conversation. Yeah, I understand. I want to be mindful of your time as well. So while we're on the subject,
we're having a blast though. I'm sad that we have to go, but
hey, well, open invitation for you guys to come back. I'd love to definitely have you guys on back on. So while we're on subject, favorite anime, Jeremy wants to know.
Easy for both of us. Leo will answer.
Food Wars.
There you go. So
and it's it's Food Wars is way above even whatever number 2 is. That show is fucking amazing. I think that's the best piece of television I've watched in the last 10 years of any show. It is fucking incredible.
Have you watched Food Wars?
I have not. The last one I've kind of really watched was Spy X Family. That was kind of into
great.
That, so, yeah.
I've heard that is fantastic.
But yeah, no, I know. So I used to be heavily in the cosplay scene. So if you showed me a character from Food Wars, I could tell. I was like, oh yeah, it's the guy from Food Wars and stuff like that.
Leo just hunted down the entire 5-season soundtrack for Food Wars. It went on
it took some effort. I also was ripping tracks off of YouTube and then lightly remastering them myself.
You're one of these guys that we were just talking about 30 years ago that was doing these game rips. No, it's important work. It's really important work.
Especially,
I will say I'm halfway through watching Attack on Titan right now. I just started the 3rd season. I'm a few episodes in. And it's amazing. The only problem was I was a little... Man, sometimes technology just gets the better of us. I was a little confused watching the first episode, not really with the plot or anything, just I was trying to keep the characters' names straight. And so I just punched into Google, or it was maybe the second episode after I don't know how, have you watched the show?
Food Wars? No, I haven't watched.
No. Attack on Titan.
Only the very first episode. I never got to. I want to get back into it, but yeah. So
in the 2nd and 3rd episode, a lot of characters get introduced,
right.
And I was trying to keep their names straight, so I Googled them, and it took me to the Attack on Titan wiki, and unfortunately, there's just a lot of info in right at the top of those wiki pages that spoiled things that I couldn't have possibly even imagined. There's so the plot of that show is so fucking bonkers. And so a huge number of things were spoiled for me accidentally, which is fine. The show is still great to watch, but I can't even imagine how jaw on floor you would be with some of the twists that happen later if you didn't spoil them for yourselves I did.
Yeah, I'll have to definitely check it out. So yeah, because I know you guys remember this interaction as well, but when I was on Twitter with you guys, speaking of anime, have you guys seen Tiger and Bunny?
No.
If you like Cobra Kai, it's like an anime.
I do like Cobra Kai.
Okay, well, for the chat, yeah, but there's a very Daniel and Johnny dynamic between the two of them trying to work together and whatnot. So there's a track on there that was very similar to y'all's work too, which I had thought you guys maybe listened to that show's OST. So, Worthy Opponent, which is y'all's track, Under the Red Moon from them, it had some very similar like synths and stuff like that. I even made a mashup at one point. So, yeah,
you have to send that to us.
I'm looking this up right now.
Leo has not watched it, but I sent him many selections from the soundtrack. But I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen soundtrack is a very big influence on Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
So for the new Spider-Man show that we do, we're very those guys that run that show are super into anime. Even our end credits theme, which is kind of the main Spider-Man theme for the show, is super anime inspired. Jujutsu Kaisen was one of those soundtracks that was just kind of on repeat.
For sure.
Is Tiger and Bunny on Crunchyroll?
It's on Netflix too.
It's on Netflix too?
Yeah.
And I'm watching Dan to Dan right now with my
wife. It looks like it is on Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna add this to my watch list.
Yeah, definitely. There's also a couple movies. So if you watch, I think Tiger and Bunny the beginning, you don't have to watch. I think episode 1 through 3, and then Tiger and Bunny the Rise, I think, is after season 1, and then season 2 came out a couple years ago. So when you mentioned Neo Geo earlier, please tell me one of your favorite leitmotifs or themes is Soy Sauce for Geese.
I am sorry, I don't know it, or at least I don't know the. I'm sorry. I wish more than anything that I knew.
It's a Geese Howard's theme, which is dun 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 dun. It's like very prominent in King of Fighters. So I know we're running out of time, so a couple last minute questions from the chat. If spin-offs, Bilbo wants to know if spin-offs are going to be a thing for the future of Cobra Kai and the Miyagi-verse. Are you going to return for those? They would not be the same without your musical talent.
Oh, thank you very much.
We don't know is the answer, but of course we would return for that, assuming we get asked.
We're not the ones.
Yeah,
we're not the ones making that decision. Right. So if first of all, let's see if there's anything, and I don't know. We'd love to.
Right, Melissa, I see your question, but they kind of answered it earlier about who was Daniel and Johnny between Zach and Leo. Somebody in the chat did say though that Leo is definitely Johnny.
Wow.
So
wow. Okay.
So Borja, last question, says, "Hey guys, question: is there anything you've wanted to do but never got a chance to, or have you ever had an idea rejected that you really wanted to do?"
Rejected? No, I don't think. We really made it our mission in season 6 to get everything out of our system and try turn over every stone. Yeah. I think that's where a lot of our collabs kind of came from. We have a lot of featured guitarists, and that was kind of a way to just open up a new box, both of inspiration, but also get some stuff out of our system in the Cobra Kai sound world. Zach has said before that we really, really wanted to do a collaboration with Yngwie Malmsteen, if you know who that guitar player is.
Yep.
And we had a whole vision for it that we came up with in season 4 to basically do a Terry Silver thing with him, because Terry Silver, it's all about the virtuosic classical music.
Yep.
And there just was never that. And we even talked to Yngwie about it. Like, we got in touch with him, and there was just never really the opportunity narratively to write the kind of piece that we were imagining in our head for that, to do that. And so we never did it.
Right. Gotcha.
That's what I was going to say. That's the only thing that I think we kind of left out there is this kind of suite for Terry Silver for electric guitar that, we could have made, but as Leo said, there wasn't the right place for it.
All right. Before we say goodbye, where upcoming projects you guys are working on now, and where can they find you?
Well, watch the rest of Spider-Man on Disney Plus. Yep. I think the last couple episodes come out on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is it this week or next week?
It's such a fun show. If you're really into Spider-Man, and what's awesome about it is just it's not the same high stakes at the end of the universe type Marvel stuff. It's really it's Spider-Man on the streets. You're spending a lot of time with Spider-Man in school. There's it's just it feels like a kind of slice of life anime in that sense. It's super fun. It's just it's a really fun hang.
Right.
And we're working on Twisted Metal season 2 right now. So we're in the middle of that, and that'll be out. They just announced that'll be out in the summer, I think.
For sure. My fiance wants you to guys come back for a gaming session. Well, hold on. I mean, if they're open, maybe, but I don't want to. I'd just be glad if they be happy to come down for a second time. So,
well, I think like we definitely would have to come on or and just like listen, do some type of listening to old game soundtracks and just nerding out because
oh yeah,
please.
That I definitely don't get to talk about that often.
For sure. Are you guys more active right now on Instagram?
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
I have stopped using Twitter actually a long time ago.
I don't blame you.
Basically.
So,
we basically, and even we're very active on Instagram kind of when we have a project going, and then we kind of go into a hibernation. But we're about to put out like a bunch of like those videos that people seem to like. So follow us at Leo Birenberg and at ZRobUSA.
Yes. So if you see a big green S, that's me. I think I told you guys in the story last night. So. Guys, thank you not only for taking time out of your day, but for the wonderful music the past 7 years. I've used that music for gym, editing videos, like everything and whatnot. Just thank you guys for all the memories, and I'm glad that we had. I really hope you guys enjoyed this interview. I certainly did.
Oh, yeah. So much.
Dude, fun, man.
I mean, this is really different than a lot of conversations we get to have. And much more fun.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. I'm really glad. And you guys are my third interview, so it means I'm doing something right. So,
great.
I love to stay in touch with you guys. Great job on all the success. Keep it up. And we'll talk to you guys another time.
Okay. Thanks, Stryfe. Thank you, chat. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, everybody.
For sure. Let's see. All right, guys. That was Zach and Leo. Dude, what a great... God dang, man. That was so fun. So damn fun. All of my interviews like so far have been really good, but holy hell, dude. Definitely like one of the God damn, it was so cool to talk about like music and video games. I'm glad like it was just damn, man. And all because of you guys, man. All because of you guys. That's it's crazy, man. Like that's whoo. Banger, man. Banger. And then Sean is next too tomorrow. God dog, dude, man. It's been so fun, man. How nervous are you? I was nervous at first. But it was I kinda let loose and whatnot. So yeah, dude, with the like see I was just so glad they gave me a shot, man. Like sometimes you don't know like until you ask. So it was really, really cool. Yeah, Insta profiles are posted on Discord. Let me drop that in the chat real quick, because if you guys have not followed them already, you need to. And such dude, so cool, man. It was so cool. So that is Zach's profile, and let me get Leo. And if you guys aren't aware already, I'm much more active on Discord and stuff like that. So I also I need to hop off here too, because I actually got to record for another podcast and whatnot. So, yeah. And, yes, dude, thanks to everybody that showed up, man. Y'all guys had great questions. I really tried to like not hog all the questions, but like I've been following this guy's work since season 1 back in 2018. So I had like so many burning questions and whatnot. So it was so cool, guys. I appreciate everybody that just like was just tuning in and everything and stuff like that. So, so yeah, thanks everybody that stopped in. Thank you the mods as well, and whatnot. So we will be back tomorrow for Mike Barnes, and yeah, this was so damn fun. So you guys stay beautiful, stay awesome. We'll catch you around next time.